Two people walk out of college with the same degree, the same starting salary, and the same bank balance. 10 years later, one owns real estate, runs a business, and sleeps without financial anxiety. The other is still living paycheck to paycheck, wondering where all the money went. Same starting line, completely different finish. The difference was never income, it was mindset. One person thought like a builder. The other thought like a spender. And the gap between those two ways of thinking is exactly what this video breaks down. The core difference between a builder and a spender. Most people believe that wealth is purely a math problem. Earn more, spend less, save the rest. But that formula alone has never made anyone rich. Plenty of high-income earners are broke. Plenty of modest earners retire wealthy. The real separation happens at the level of how a person thinks about money before a single dollar is ever spent. A spender sees money as a reward. After a long week of work, spending feels justified, it feels earned. The brain gets a hit of dopamine from buying a new phone, upgrading a car, or booking a flashy vacation. The spender's financial decisions are driven almost entirely by emotion and the desire for immediate comfort. There is nothing morally wrong with this, but it quietly destroys long-term financial momentum. A builder, on the other hand, sees money as a tool. Every dollar that comes in is evaluated not by how good it feels to spend, but by what it can do if deployed correctly. Builders are not people who never enjoy life. They are people who delay gratification strategically and redirect resources toward things that multiply over time. The builder's brain is wired to ask one question before spending: does this move me forward? Or does this just feel good right now? Warren Buffett is the most studied example of a builder's mindset in modern history.
It would be going through the 20,000 pages. And since we were talking about railroads,
he still lives in the same Omaha house he purchased in 1958 for $31,000. His net worth exceeds $100 billion, yet he eats at McDonald's, drives modest cars, and famously clips coupons. His restraint is not because he cannot afford luxury. It is because his mind never converted wealth into a permission slip for reckless spending. Every dollar he kept compounded. Every dollar that stayed invested quietly built empires. Contrast that with athletes like Mike Tyson.
Never give up. Never give up. Even if you get knocked down, knocked out, humiliated, never give up.
Who earned over $300 million throughout his boxing career and filed for bankruptcy in 2003. Or MC Hammer.
It's a big house. It's something that I've been working on for about.
Who took in roughly $30 million and lost it all within years. These were not unintelligent people. They simply operated from a spender's framework. The invisible architecture of a builder's thinking. Understanding the builder mindset requires going deeper than surface-level habits. It requires examining the invisible mental architecture that guides every financial decision a builder makes, often unconsciously. The first pillar of this architecture is the concept of productive assets. Builders instinctively categorize everything they own into two buckets: things that generate value and things that consume it. A car, in most cases, is a liability. It depreciates, requires insurance, and costs fuel. The second pillar is the relationship with time. A spender's time horizon is short. The question is always, what do I want now? A builder's time horizon extends decades forward. When Elon Musk was running Tesla in its early years,
I wouldn't, for the prototype at least, I would recommend not dropping anything when you're near it.
the company was burning cash. Eternal clock was measured at an alarming rate. Most people would have folded. Musk's mental model allowed him to absorb short-term pain because his intentions that look irrational in the present, but prove brilliant in the future. The third pillar is the approach to risk. Spenders often avoid financial risk by keeping money in savings accounts or spending it before it can be lost. Sarah Blakely, the founder of Spanx,
it's 25 years later and my experience was almost the same. I mean, I'm standing in factories.
Grew up in a household where her father regularly asked the children at dinner what they had failed at that week. Failure was treated not as something shameful, but as evidence of effort and experimentation. That early mental programming made her the kind of person who could invest $5,000 of her own savings into a product idea and push it through years of rejection until it became a billion-dollar brand. The builder mindset was installed long before the money ever arrived. The fourth pillar is income diversification. Spenders are often entirely dependent on a single source of income, usually a job. Builders are obsessed with creating multiple streams. They invest in stocks, start side businesses, how to rewire your thinking and start building. The encouraging truth is that the builder mindset is not something a person is born with. It is learned, practiced, and installed through deliberate choice. The brain is neurologically plastic, meaning it can be reprogrammed with consistent new inputs. The first step is changing the language used around money. This one linguistic shift, popularized through the work of Robert Kiyosaki.
Gold is $3,500. I started saving this when it was $1.
Redirects mental energy from resignation to creativity. The question is not whether the shift feels natural at first. It will not. But with repetition, it rewires the default response. The second step is creating a spending audit. Most people genuinely do not know where their money goes. A simple 30-day audit of every expenditure reveals the invisible leaks, subscriptions never used, meals that could have been prepared at home, impulse purchases driven by boredom rather than need. The audit does not demand perfection. It simply creates visibility. And visibility is the first prerequisite for change. The third step is starting to invest before it feels comfortable. Many people wait until they feel financially ready to invest. That moment rarely comes. Rihanna did not wait until Fenty Beauty
good at doing other accents, but I've had to learn how to adjust.
Was a guaranteed success before pouring her name and capital into it. Jeff Bezos did not wait until Amazon's business model.
And so then on sleep, I get 8 hours of sleep. I prioritize it unless I'm traveling and
was airtight before quitting his Wall Street job and building it from a garage. Builders move before certainty arrives. They understand that readiness is not a pre-condition for action. It is the result of action. Jim Rohn's observation that a person becomes the average of the 5 people.
So let's talk a little bit about personal development. That extraordinary adventure I undertook starting at age.
They spend the most time with remains one of the most practically powerful ideas in personal development. The builders of this world did not start out different, they simply chose to think differently. And that choice, made consistently over time, made all the difference.